Hello and welcome. Today I would like to show you how I designed the sound I just played on the Waldorf Iridium synthesizer. It uses FM synthesis, which is a bit complicated, and I also just recently started to understand it. So this might be interesting for beginners with FM synthesis and also for people who are interested in the Iridium synthesizer. First, I will create an init patch by hitting load and init. And now these 16 buttons play a chromatic scale. I only want certain notes to appear, so I go into the note page and select a few notes that I like. If you wonder what I just programmed, it's not really a scale because it goes up and down, but these are notes that I would play on a regular keyboard. I like to play the root note, which is in this case C. Then we also have the fifth. I have the third a few times, and I also have the minor third, so that technically we are in C minor with this chord. And I also added a B flat as the seventh, and maybe I also want to have a D. That would also be nice. That would be the ninth or the second, depending on how you count. I mentioned that I would like to have an FM sound. So on oscillator 1, I will now hit those two buttons to activate the kernel engine. First, we need to get an overview of what's actually happening here. We do this by going to the patch and hitting algorithm. And then we see that we have something that is called 2-operator FM. We have one carrier, which is kernel 2, and one modulator, which is kernel 1. So now this is basically two oscillators, and this oscillator kernel 1 is modulating kernel 2. How does this actually sound and work? Let's lower the volume of kernel 1 to 0. And on kernel 2, we just have a sine wave. So we still have the same sound that we had before. But now when I go to kernel 1 and increase the volume, let's remember that this modulator modulates the frequency of kernel 2. The sound will start to sound differently. The volume makes the sound change, also the ratio, which means in this case ratio between kernel 1 and kernel 2. It's usually set to like whole numbers, so that it all still sounds quite all right. But it would also be possible to make sounds that are a bit atonal by having ratios which are not whole numbers. I'm still going for like the whole notes, and I will now make a modulation for this level control. And there's something built into this engine which makes it very easy to do this, and this is the envelope page. We have a multi-stage envelope which is inspired by the classic TX7 synthesizer, I think. So now you hear how the sound automatically changes over time with this envelope being applied to the volume of kernel 1. We can also add some decay here. We have a guest. Neptune, what's your approach or opinion on FM synthesis? Okay, I will just try to continue here. This is a very basic setup of a 2-operator sound. Also, we should increase the release on kernel 1. We can do it to endless and then go to the amp envelope and increase the release here so that our sound will smoothly fade out. And also maybe we need some attack as well. No, that one. Yeah, that's nice. We can now make things a bit more interesting by adding more of these kernels. There are actually some presets. I hope that when I change the preset, what I just did will not be overwritten. I want to have a preset where I have 3 kernels, 3 carriers and 3 modulators. So 6 kernels in total. Yeah, like that. So now we have kernel 1, 3 and 5 as carrier and 2, 4 and 6 as modulator. Let's have a look again at the algorithms. So I will mute the volume of 3 and 5 so that we only hear 1 and 2. So 3 goes down and 5 goes down. We don't need to do anything now to 4 and 6 because there will be nothing happening because we have muted the volume of 3 and 5. Neptune, you are crazy. What's up with you? Where was I? I wanted to add kernel 1 as a modulator. No, kernel 2 as a modulator. Sorry, that goes up. And all right, so we had an envelope here. Let me quickly do this again. So what we learned is that we need to decide which algorithm we use before we start changing any settings. Okay, that sounds like before. Now I will bring kernel 3 and I will detune it a little bit by going on wave again and use the detune button. And also we will bring in kernel 5 and also detune it. So now we have an interesting kind of chorus or whatever effect. Also make sure that the filter is completely open. Let's do kernel 4, which is the modulator of kernel 3. I will now set it to a higher ratio and change the envelope a bit so that we also have a nice modulation of the timbre over time. The crazy thing on the Iridium is, by the way, that you can not only use sine waves, but also other waveforms. Let's try this with a wavetable. Not too loud, I want this still to be very dark and atmospheric pad sound. Then for kernel... Whoa, no! I changed the preset. Oh my god, no, everything is gone again. I hate touchpads. Guys, I hate touchpads. This is so bad. Where is my sound? It's here. Fantastic. So everything is gone, right? Is it? Yes, of course. Oh no. Fantastic. Okay, so let's do it again. We had some envelopes here. And here I used a wavetable. We had the ratio to 2. And the envelope was also a bit slower. also we used some detuning to make this a bit more interesting. There's no rule to how to change the levels. I just changed them until I like the sound. Then we have kernel 6 going into kernel 5. So here at 6, I also take it for another ratio. And do maybe an even slower envelope so that still something else happens after a long while. It would also be interesting to have not a whole number, but maybe yeah. Okay, that's nice. We could also have a look at what's going with the controls. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 control knobs here, but we cannot use them right now. Right now, nothing happens. So we need to go into patch and controls, select which knob we want to have. In this case, I start with center, and then I can select any parameter of the kernel engine. Let's go for frequency offset of kernel 2 or pitch maybe. Select the amount, and now we should have a very drastic change to the sound with this knob here. Yeah, this might be interesting if we are playing something. I would like to add a chorus. Someone suggested to me that we need chorus effects on pads. So let's take the internal chorus of the Iridium and see how it sounds. Ah, that's nice. Not too much. Okay. Let's add a few effects from the computer. First, I want to use Enzo, which is a looper. It will enable me to record very long loops and overdub them over time. Then I will have Valhalla delay. I set this to a very long feedback and also enabled some overdrive so that the sound will start to distort a little bit. And then I have Black Hole Immersive, which is a huge reverb. So let me start Enzo and play some music.